Hey everyone, welcome to Moms That Conquer. I am your host, Julie Rodriguez, and we are here with the amazing Christina Rivera. Welcome to all of our new followers. The purpose of these conversations is for us to feel comfortable with each other, to speak with vulnerability.
Yes.
Vulnerability, excuse me. So as much as I'm going to be vulnerable, I would like for you to be vulnerable. I would like for our guests to be vulnerable, for you to be vulnerable, right? If you have any ideas, any comments, any feedback, feel free to share it with us anytime you watch our videos. Today, our topic of discussion is teen pregnancy. And I know that, and I know you're not a teen, right? You were a grown woman, but at some point you were a teen mom. You were a teen mom, so this is why you're here. And I feel like teen pregnancy can be an emotional discussion, right? An emotional topic.
Yeah.
Extremely difficult. Extremely frustrating as a parent to discuss. So emotions are on the table, guys. We are going to talk with Christy about her
teen mom journey.
Teen mom journey. She filled in the sentence for me. So Christy, let's start, right? Tell us. I always am so used to saying me, but we are talking to our people. So tell us a little bit about your journey as a teen mom. So you became a mom at what age?
17.
But pregnant at
16.
So 16 and
16 and pregnant. Before teen mom.
Before teen mom. Okay, so you should be the producer of 16 and pregnant, right?
Yeah.
You really own that, but we'll give it to them. We'll let them have it. But anyway.
So way back.
21
years ago.
Way back when.
Yeah. 21 years ago. I was 16 when I got pregnant. 17 when I had Brandon.
Your son, right?
Yes,
Brandon
is my son. He was born April 30th, 2003. I was in 11th grade of high school.
Wow.
And yeah, it was crazy to find out that I was pregnant, but
at 60 years old.
16, yeah.
And this is a judgment-free zone, guys. Completely judgment-free. So I say wow, but not to be judgmental. It's just, to me, it's extremely shocking when you think about somebody being pregnant at 16 years old, because I have a 16-year-old son. And I can't imagine him coming home and saying, Mom, you're about to be a grandma. Because
I know
emotions will run high. I don't know how I would be able to accept something like that.
I was also terrified that Brandon would repeat that cycle, but thankfully he didn't. So I'm very, very proud of him.
You should be.
And proud of me and his dad. Like, we did a good job raising him. So
as you should. So what fear, Christy, did you have when you found out that you were going to be a mom at 16 years old, right? Guys, 16, like, what were you doing at 16 years old?
My fear was, like, how was I going to do this?
How?
Like, you don't have no job. I ain't got no money. Nothing.
And having a baby is expensive.
Yeah. So I was a little bit. I was excited, but the most thing that I was scared about was telling my parents, like telling my mom, like the fear of disappointing her.
Right.
Was more scary than the fact that I'm pregnant at 16.
I think a lot of us experience that, right? When we feel like we're going to let our parents down in some sense, or we're going to bring disappointment to our parents. Do you guys feel like you can have an open conversation with any of your parents, either your mom or your dad, or whoever your parent is outside of your mom and dad? Do you feel comfortable enough to speak to them, or are you like Christina, where you experience a sense of fear when you have things going on in your life?
It's still a sensitive topic, though, because like you could be open with your parents, but that's not something that you will ever be comfortable telling them. So like, even if I told my mom everything, I still would be scared to tell her that, because at that time, it wasn't acceptable to have a baby that young. You know,
you were 16.
Like, this was normal back in like the 1800s, but fast forward to like the 2000s, like, that's not, it was happening a lot. Like, the statistics were high, but that's not something that parents wanted for their kids. They wanted to finish school, they wanted them to go to college, they want you to get married and do things in the, you know, the right societal way.
Yeah, and you always have a dream for yourself, but your parents, as your parents, have a dream for you, right? Because I know for my kids, I want them to be nothing but successful, respectful men, right? But that's my dream for them.
Yeah.
Would I want them to be parents at 16 years old? Absolutely not. So aside from you being scared, right, what other feelings did you consume while you took that pregnancy test and found out your life may potentially stop at 16?
After telling my mom, like being scared to tell my mom, like I was also scared to tell Brandon's dad. And you know, the initial feeling is like you like nervous and scared, and you're like, we're like, is this really happening? Like we didn't expect it to happen that fast, and like it was just a lot of mixed emotions. But at the end of it, like we were really excited. We were so in love, and we did want to have a child with each other. It wasn't an accident. I don't call it an accident.
Teen pregnancy is a super sensitive topic. So I'm not here to encourage teen pregnancy. That's not the point of our conversation. I personally became a mom at 18 years old, and even that age was difficult for me.
You're 18.
Yes.
You're a teen too.
It was difficult for me to know that I was going to become a mother. So the same with you. I was extremely scared and nervous, and I didn't know what emotion to consume at the moment. But aside from that, it was a sense of disappointment, but not towards my discussion with my mom or anyone else. It was a disappointment within myself. Like, you are pregnant. What in the world is your problem? So what would you say your drive or motivation was to continue making sure you accomplish happiness and goals within yourself? And this is only about you, outside of being a mother.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question. So for me, being that young, like the number one goal was to finish school. Like I didn't want to drop out of school.
Finish school, kids.
So at the time I was in 11th grade and I had him in April. So there was only one class, like it was gym, that I pretty much failed. So I had to retake it my senior year. And thanks to my mother's mother, my grandmother, may she rest in peace, she stood with Brandon while I was in school. So that, because my mom worked. So I'm really grateful for the support system that I had. Like my entire family was so helpful. And finishing school, and then from high school, wanting to go to college and get my degree, and you know, lugging him with me everywhere on the train. To go to daycare. Like I was carrying that stroller up and down the stairs, and it was hard. It was a lot. Like,
but you did it.
I did,
and that's what's important. And I want to go back to what you said, having a good support system, because I think that that's extremely important with everything you do in your life, right? So a question to you guys would be, if you do have a teen child that comes to you and tells you that they're pregnant, or someone they're seeing is pregnant, how would you support them, right? Do you feel that you are going to be a supportive parent and be there for their child, like what Christina had? Or do you feel like you're just going to stop them in their tracks and say, this can't be your life, right? Ask yourself that question. And I'm really happy that you had that motivation to finish school, because although you were a mom at 16 years old, that really sets a perfect example for your son, right? I had you at 16, but I'm still doing it, right? I'm still lugging your carriage up and down the stairs. I'm still making sure that you got the care that you need, but I am important, and I needed to finish school, and that's what I did. So amazing job for setting goals for yourself outside of being a mom, right? Super important. Do you feel raising him at a young age kind of stopped you from being the best mom you could be? 16 versus being a mom now, because you're a mom to a 1-year-old and
a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old.
So
absolutely, definitely, 100% is way different. I do have a little guilt because I wasn't able to be. I feel like I could have been there more for him than I am now. Like now I'm home with the girls, and they stood with me basically, you know, till the Willow till she was 18 months. She didn't start daycare, and then Autumn is not going to start until she's 18 months. So like having that privilege of being home and being able to raise your child versus when I was 16, I had to leave him home with my grandmother and go to school.
Yeah.
And, I didn't get to spend as much time with him as I, would have as a stay-at-home mom now. So it's like a huge difference. And there's like a little bit of guilt there, but I did the best that I could at that age. Yeah.
Do the best that you can
Yeah.
in everything that you do in life.
Mhm.
And I think that it's extremely normal to feel guilty as a parent.
Yeah.
Right. So your guilt is
I even feel guilty now about things.
But that's what
Yeah.
I'm referencing, right?
Yeah.
Your guilt is okay. But do not let that consume who you are as a person or a mother.
No.
Right? You had your son, you succeeded, you strived, and you're a great mom now. So feeling guilty of what happened previously is not going to get you anywhere.
No.
Let the guilt go.
Yeah.
Shake it off.
Like at the end of the day, I know I'm a good mom.
Exactly.
So that's all that matters.
That's an affirmation.
Yeah.
Tell yourself you are a good mom. You are a good mom. You are a good mother.
Yes.
You are a good father. You are a good uncle, auntie, friend, person, woman, dog mom, man, everything. You are amazing. Tell yourself that. And that's super important, right? Because you can have guilt about who you are and what you've done.
Yeah.
Extremely normal. Okay. I know you didn't wake up in the morning and say, today I am 16 years old and I'm going to become a mother.
No.
Like that wasn't a goal, but you're going, right?
Yeah.
And what advice would you give your kids now, right? Because she has her son and she has 2 daughters. So mom of 3 now, right? So what advice would you give your kids your kids now about contraception?
That's a scary topic, like
it is so scary
to talk to your kids about sex.
I know.
Like,
how do you do it? How do you guys feel?
Yeah.
Is a good way? What do you feel is a good way to talk to your kids about sex?
Right? There is none. It's awkward.
So
straight
awkward.
Up awkward,
especially for teenagers. 16. I mean,
well,
tell me the advice. Tell me, girl. Tell us.
I may have told his dad, like, you need to talk to wish I could really remember. I don't know if I ever directly
but it doesn't necessarily have to be long ago or Brandon,
like
right?
What
advice would you give your kids now, your daughters?
I would basically say, like, it's normal to have these type of feelings for, whoever you're interested in. Like, don't be ashamed of that. Basically, I'm going to support you. If this is something that you want to do or explore, I'm here to help you, like whether it's, contraceptives or going to the doctor and getting birth control. Like for my girls, like I would take them to the doctor and, like to have that topic discussed with the doctor and with them. And then as far as like Brandon, like when I sent him off to college, I bought him a huge box of condoms and I was like, please be safe. Don't get anybody pregnant and do not get an STD.
Right, because that's important.
I literally Amazoned him a huge box and I'm like, whether you use it or not, that's not my business, but just be careful,
So just a level set to make sure I understand.
Yeah.
You are at a point in your life that you feel okay to support your kids in the decisions that they make, but
I want to teach them to be responsible. Yeah.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, they're going to do what they want to do. You can't sit there and say, you cannot have sex. Because the way the society is now, that it's happening younger and younger. And it's with social media and everything, it's very scary. Like the things that are being put in front of kids, eyes and faces on the internet, like it's hard for you to, shield them.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I could think going about it is supporting them and giving them the right information to be safe.
And that's important, right? Being safe. It's not even only about teen pregnancy. It's about making sure that the kids, our kids, understand the concept and the danger behind sexually transmitted diseases. So to follow up to what you said, communicate with your children.
Yes, communication.
You are not here to be their friend. You are here to be their parents.
Yes.
It is so important to talk to your kids and help them understand their purpose, their why. Why are they here? Right? God has them here for a reason, and it's not necessarily to be a parent at 15 or 16 years old. And the only person that's going to help drive them into the direction of success is us as parents. So make sure you communicate with your kids every day. And if you feel that it's a difficult conversation, because it becomes awkward, especially for teen boys or girls. They don't feel comfortable enough to speak to their mom. Let them talk to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many people they could talk to. They can talk to family, friends, a therapist, a doctor. There's support groups, right? And we'll go more into that later on into the conversation. But there's so many resources that you can utilize to help your children. Books,
websites,
reading is so fundamental. So fundamental. So make sure that you do that. And I'm not saying your direction or advice is wrong. I just want to add to it because I think that it's so important for us to communicate with our kids, no matter how difficult it is.
And aside from communication, I think making sure your child knows that they should be comfortable to talk to you about this topic.
Right.
Like making sure that they feel comfortable, that you're not gonna judge them. Right. You're not gonna, make them feel some type of way to where they don't even want to come to you for anything.
Like we're gonna have real conversation. We're gonna talk like adults. You want to be an adult? I'm going to teach you the responsibilities that comes with being an adult.
And like you're not going to be coming with your girlfriend in the room.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Okay.
No sleepovers.
So guys, talk to your kids, right? Help them understand. Sorry. It's so it's so important for our kids to understand their purpose.
Yeah.
Because we're here at this age and we're now driving ourselves to figure out our purpose and who we are and who we were supposed to become or to become. And it's because we were moms at a young age.
I know.
16,
and that makes
18.
me even more nervous about having two girls.
Yeah.
Like I already dealt with my boy. He's grown and he's made great decisions. So now it's girls are a little bit different when it comes to boys and this topic. They could be more sexual and more secretive. Influence. Yes, secretive. Sure. Yeah, I was definitely secretive when I was a teenager. So like, I'm very nervous when they become teenagers.
And I think that's okay, right?
And I always tell Justin, I'm like, you are going to have your hands full.
For those of you that have daughters, because I do not, I'm a mom of boys, but I'm nervous for you too.
Yeah.
And for myself. But for those of you that have daughters, do you feel comfortable enough to have conversations like this with your teenage daughter? Or do you feel like there's something stopping you from having that conversation? And if there is something stopping you, then you really have to drill down and figure out what is stopping you from feeling comfortable enough to have that conversation with your kid that's going to protect their future. And now that you are a mom of 3, because it's not 1 anymore, it's 3.
A huge gap.
But we're not going to go there, right? Because it's a judgment-free zone. What advice do you have for parents raising teenagers who are sexually active?
Oh my goodness.
I know. We're getting deep here, guys.
I know. She's asking me really hard questions. Like I have to think.
It's okay. Take a moment.
So advice that I would give is to, like I said before, educate your child about being safe and supporting them, not in a way like that you're saying it's okay to be sexually active, but letting them know, like, feel comfortable to come to you if they need, contraceptive, or if they need to go to the doctor, or, anything sex topic related, like to be able to come to you like, Mom, I need help with this, letting, keeping that open space, education, communication, and support. Like those are the top 3 things I would recommend.
Yeah. I would agree with that. And to add to that, I think that it's super important, parents, to be honest with your children about the difficulties of parenthood. Because being a parent is not easy. And I think that we don't want to scare our kids, but we want to scare our kids. It is not easy to be a mom or dad.
No, it's not. It's so funny that you say that, because Brandon was just here last week for his spring break, and he's here watching me, with the girls, and I have a toddler and she throws a lot of tantrums and I get frustrated, and I'm sure he's sitting there seeing that, and I always joke with him and I throw it out there. I'm like, don't have kids. I always say, don't have kids.
Yeah. So, but it's,
you're not ready for this,
right? Because it's hard work.
And I'm almost 40, and I feel like I'm not even ready for this. Like, it's so different. Like, Brandon was such a good kid. Like, I rarely ever remember him throwing crazy tantrums. And now, like, with the girls are so different from a boy. Like, I feel like he was easy. And now I'm like, it's challenging.
It is hard, but that's where honesty comes into play, because we can't pretend like it's a walk in the park. It's not. Our kids have to see the difficulties in life in general. They have to experience struggles and hardships in a way that it drives them to want to do the opposite.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And
to do something different.
Do something different with themselves and figure out who they are as individuals, so that their mindset can be, I don't want to be a parent at 16 years old. What I want to do is figure out what college I want to go to, what sports I want to play, how successful I want to be in my classes, what do I want to study when I get older. Like,
those are the things you want them to worry about.
That's the things we want them to worry about. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to happen, but if we instill that into their mind, even if we sound annoying, because I get called annoying every single day, and I don't care.
He will appreciate it when he's older.
He will.
He will.
He will. When your kid, like Brandon, he's about to graduate college. That guilt that you said you felt earlier should be filled with happiness and relief, because
it is. Now it is.
Because your son is in college.
I know.
You made it this far. He made it this far. And he made it this far because you helped him make it this far. So she's an amazing mom, guys. Amazing. And you guys are all amazing parents. I said this before, I'll continue to say it. Parenting is hard. Trust me. It's extremely hard. Raising teenagers is harder.
Yeah.
And
can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you feel like raising toddlers is hard, or teenagers?
Teenagers
harder?
Absolutely.
I feel like it's toddler stage is hard.
Absolutely.
But I'm saying that because I feel like Brandon was a good teenager. Like, he didn't give me any trouble.
And don't get me wrong, right? I'll go back to my answer. The only reason why I think raising teenagers is hard is because my toddlers are we're gonna save that for another conversation.
They're toddlers.
And there's two of them, same age. But the attitudes that come along with the teenage life,
I know.
Right? The fear that I experience every day with raising teenagers, because I'm to the point where, although I'm not driving myself to be their friend, I'm driving myself to be their mother. I want them to love me as their mother. And know that my mom's amazing, my mom's successful, my mom's strong, my mom's a go-getter.
They do. They're just not gonna show you that.
Right. So that's where
until they're older.
That's where I have
and I've seen it, because like Brandon gave me attitude, and it wasn't like anything crazy bad where I feel like he was disrespectful or anything, but now that he's older, he's showing me like his appreciation for me. So
and the reason why I say it's hard is because the toddlers, they love on you. Right? I love you, my mommy. You're the best mommy in the world.
They don't talk back.
And the teenagers, they're like, hey son, good morning. Hey. You know, like,
how was
give
school?
Me some conversation.
Good. That's it. That's all you have.
So that, as an overthinker, that makes me overthink me as a mother. So that's why I say it's difficult. But very good question. Thank you for asking me a question. Right? Because this is the point of this communication for the two of us. I want to go right back to where we were, just to repeat this, right, for you guys, and remind you guys to talk to your kids, help them understand their purpose, help them understand their why, be honest with them about the difficulties of parenthood. Let them know that seeing a therapist is extremely, extremely okay, right? Doctors, read research, whatever it is, right? Because when I did my own research before this, I found out, we're going back to statistics, right? Because you mentioned this earlier. In 2002, teen pregnancies reached a historic low, dropping 3% from 2002. I'm sorry, 2022. Okay. 2022. It dropped 3% from the previous year, right? And so although we think that teen pregnancies is at an all-time high.
No.
It's really dropping, guys. So that means that parents are striving and succeeding at being parents to teach their kids it's not okay to be a mom at 15, 16, 14, right? With exceptions in 2006 and 2007, it went up a little bit. But the teen birth rate has declined every year since 1991.
Yeah, wow.
In 1991, teen
I know
birth
when
rate
I
has
had
declined.
him, it was high.
Yeah.
Which is why MTV started the 16 and pregnant and the teen mom, because it was high at that time. And based on statistics, because the show aired and a lot of people are seeing like the experiences,
the difficulties,
it's gone down.
Yeah. And this is according to the CDC, guys. I did not make this up.
It's showing reality TV of like what it's really like to go through a teen, pregnancy. Not everybody is blessed like me. Like I have a family that supported me and helped me. Yeah. There's other people that they get kicked out of the house, left out in the streets, and don't have no help.
No, and that's devastating. Yeah. Nobody wants that for their kid.
In my experience, the way my mom and my family helped me, if that was to ever happen with my kids, I have no choice but to be supportive. Like I would never, disown my child. I could never do that.
Yeah. Do you guys feel like you would be supportive if your kid said I'm pregnant? Or someone they're dating is pregnant? I don't know if I asked you guys this before, but I'm going to ask you guys this again. Think about that. Lastly, what I want to add, right, and I wanted to share with you and our audience is HHS.gov, which is known as the Health and Human Services, has a teen pregnancy prevention program, which is a grant program that funds diverse organizations working to prevent teen pregnancy.
Oh, that's amazing.
Right? So I think that's extremely amazing. Yeah. That's awesome. Because aside from having our kids read, they can also go online, which is what they love to do, and do their research on their phone. I'm going to make sure that we link the website in our comments. You can learn more about the program and resources online. You can actually donate. You can actually participate and attend one of their events. Volunteer. Thank you for giving me that word. I needed it. Volunteer for one of these events because we want to support, right? Yeah. We want to support, and we want to make sure that we speak on stopping teen pregnancy, preventing teen pregnancy, but be supportive in our own way, and not just do this,
right? Exactly.
Right. So make sure you support, guys. Yeah. Not only your children, but the young kids that are around you. Thank you. You're so welcome. Much. I appreciate your vulnerability.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, and being open with us. Thank you for sharing. I want to remind you again that you are a great mother.
Oh, thank you.
Keep going. Don't give up. Keep going. Don't give up. You guys are amazing. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, share.
Yes.
This is Julie with Moms That Conquer.
Subscribe.
Bye, guys.